So in today's video, we're going to talk about something that's incredibly important but often overlooked. The futility of complaining and how my life got 10 times better after I minimized my complaints. Complaining is a lot like rocking in a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, but it doesn't get you anywhere. This quote really hits me when I first saw it. Now, let's take a moment to think about how often do we complain about things then things got better? We would be lucky if things don't get worse, isn't it? Hi, my name is James, a certified language teacher in both China and Canada. This channel is dedicated to helping you with language learning and achieving a healthier and happier life. To delve deeper into this topic, I want to share with you a book that genuinely changed my life and helped me have a better and happier life. It's called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a FUCK by Mark Manson. This book is a game changer when it comes to understanding what really matters in life and how to focus on those things while letting go the rest. It has helped millions of readers worldwide. Now, don't forget to check the description for the Amazon link because buying the book from my link is a good support for this channel as well. Okay, let's imagine yourself stuck in the traffic, late for an important meeting, and all you can do is complain about how terrible the situation is. Sounds familiar, right? Then what happened? Perhaps you got more and more frustrated. That got on your nerve for quite some time, wasn't it? But did the complaint change anything and do anything good to you afterwards? I think the answer is very obvious. But of course, if you bought an expired milk and you are going back to complain and return it. However, most of the time, complaining is just useless. In Subtle Art of Not Giving a FUCK, the book says the key to a good life is not giving a FUCK about more. It's giving a FUCK about less. Giving a FUCK about only what's true and immediate and important. Mark Manson explains that a lot of useless complaints are taking away our focus from what truly matters and drains our emotional energy. You know, just like sometimes my friends complain about the life in China, for example, working 12 hours a day is unhuman, it's slavery. But in my head, I'm like, did you sign a slavery contract with the company? Or did they actually tie you up in a chair so you can't go anywhere, you can't move? No, right? Then why don't you do something about it? There's this quote from one of the YouTube channels that I really like. It's called Mako. She says, if you don't build your dream, you will be building someone else's. That being said, complaining is actually a distraction from building your own dream as well. And we should minimize that. So if complaining doesn't help, what should we do instead? There's only one thing that could help. Let me tell you a true story first. When I was a kid, my dad had temper issue and I was so afraid every time I made a mistake because I was actually worried that somebody's gonna get hurt really, really bad. Shout out to Russell Peters. And I was not good at English at all. I found this language was really disturbing and hard to learn. But one day I realized I wanted to leave this family and the toxic environment as far as I could. Maybe the other side of the earth will be perfect. So how do I get there? I need to speak good English. From that date on, I studied English like a maniac. I never actually knew that I could be so into language learning and also be good at it. I also realized that don't complain, don't. If you don't like about something, you take actions, okay? You either change the situation or you just leave the situation. I couldn't change my dad, right? I can't just say, hey, I don't like this man. He should not be my father. Let's replace him with someone else. I cannot do that. But the only thing that I could take control was study hard and leave this environment. Yes, so take actions. Okay, even in small little steps is what leads to real change. The book says, action isn't just the effect of motivation, it's also the cause of it. Manson emphasized that we often wait for the perfect moment or for motivation to strike before we act. But in reality, no one can be 100% ready for something, right? However, taking action creates its own momentum. By doing something, you start to build the motivation you need to keep going. And that's one of the things that my wife really admires me about is that I execute when I have an idea. I don't sit and wait. Now, success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It's the courage to continue that counts, okay? Taking action can change your life, but it's also important to remove toxic influences. Just like I said, I wanted to heal and save my inner self, and I had to get out of that environment. Now, think about a friend who always gives you negative energy, nagging and complaining about things. How does that make you feel? It's draining, right? And the book suggests that choosing what to care about also means choosing what to let go. So the next thing you can do is to leave the toxic environment, just like what I did. This doesn't mean cutting off everyone at the first sign of trouble, but rather setting boundaries to protect your mental and emotional health. If you care enough about your own mental health, you have to let go some of this negative energy people. Like, I personally believe in this kind of energy flow thing, right? You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, so choose wisely. Now, up to this point, we know that complaining is useless and we should take actions and we isolate ourselves from negative people and energy. But what about us, the inner self? How can we actually change the way we think and think positive and attract positive energy so that the flow becomes more natural and better? Now, have you ever wondered why some people seem to handle life's challenges better than the others? Because they believe in good values. That's the first thing we can do. When we choose better values, we live better lives. But what are good values? The book suggests good values are reality-based, socially constructive, and immediate and controllable. For instance, if you value always being right, you're basically setting yourself up for failure because no one is always right? So number 1, is it reality-based? No, no one's always right. It's just unrealistic. Number 2, is it socially constructive? No, it's pain in the butt to deal with people like that. And number 3, is it immediate and controllable? No, you can't always dominate conversations and other people's mind. I mean, come on. So, like a friend of my wife, actually, it's a sad story. She was a top student in high school, but she was taught by her parents and teachers to be perfect and be correct and ace all exams. So she couldn't accept any failures in her life. Now, after graduating from one of the top unis in China, she, of course, started working, right? And you could possibly imagine how difficult it is to work with someone like her. And she got isolated by the group. Now, after a while, she couldn't take it because she couldn't understand why people were treating her that way when she was just simply trying to do everything right. At the end, she was diagnosed with severe depression. So, values guide our action and shape our lives. And that's why I said choose wisely. And your life will follow through. I will list 10 commonly agreed good values here, so for you to take a look. Now, that was the first thing, to have good values, right? The second thing is to embrace responsibility. Okay, let's think about a time when you blame someone else for your problems. Like, I used to blame others when I lost a game in League of Legends. Did it solve anything? Of course not. But taking responsibility for our actions and decisions is very empowering in this situation, even playing games, And that's the only way it can help you to progress, to improve, to evolve, right? The book says we don't always control what happens to us, but we always control how we interpret what happens to us, as well as how we respond. Manson highlights that accepting responsibility for our own lives is very crucial for personal growth. Blaming others is super easy. I mean, it's just like out of your mouth, right? You don't even need to think about it. But it doesn't lead to improvement. So if you're struggling with a project at work, let's say, instead of blaming your boss or colleagues, take a step back and see what you can do differently. Now, can you give some suggestive ideas to help everyone get back on track? You see, it's not only helping others, it's helping yourself at the same time, right? Because you are a part of the team, isn't it? Long story short, responsibility isn't about fault. Oh, this is your fault, this is my fault, blah, blah, blah. No. It's about taking control of your own life and making it better. Now, when you're able to do the things we just mentioned, setting good values, taking responsibility, you will see that your life is getting better already and you will be happier. But that's not good enough. The next point I want to talk about, how do we manage our emotions when things don't go the way we want? Because if you can't control emotions, you will still end up complaining and whining about things, right? What I actually do is to recognize my feelings and emotions. For example, I would tell myself, I'm not happy about da 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 da, and let's take a deep breath. Then imagine I'm not James. I'm a third person looking at this angry James. This process will help me release 70 to 80% of the tension. So basically, we need to recognize them, understand them, and then take rational decisions. Now, lastly, let's talk about the importance of embracing failure as a path to success. Because we will have to learn how to face failure, right? How many people actually hit the jackpot on their very first business projects? It's super rare, I can tell you. I've been talking to successful business people around me, and then almost every single one of them were telling me before they were really hitting that jackpot, they failed like 10, 5, 15 projects. But if we don't learn how to face failure, you will be questioning and complaining about everything and stop moving forward. So, failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of it. The book says the desire for more positive experience is itself a negative experience. And paradoxically, the acceptance of one's negative experience is itself a positive experience. In ancient Chinese culture, there is something called yin-yang. And yin and yang explain how positive forces work together. Yin means dark, quiet, and feminine. Yang is light, active, and masculine. Even though they might seem to fight each other, but they actually balance each other out, and they can't live without one another, showing that both are needed for harmony and balance in life. So even something bad happened, it seems like a negative experience. On the other hand, this experience can definitely teach us something, right? So we can turn negative into something positive. When you see the positivities, then there's no reason for you to complain, right? You'd probably appreciate the opportunity to learn. Another YouTuber I really like is Yuri Ohama. She has over 1 million subscribers, but she says people often see her success, but don't know that she has been learning and trying for 6 years with multiple YouTube channels before she even has a chance to step where she is right now. So in short, embracing failure as a learning opportunity. It's a stepping stone to success. By understanding and implementing these principles, we can transform our lives in meaningful ways. Today, we discussed the futility of complaining and share with you this great book. It's only a fragment of the book, so I definitely recommend you to click the link in the description and take one home so that you can enjoy the whole book. Alright, if you found this video helpful, please make sure to give me a thumbs up so that more people can see this video, and leave a comment sharing your thoughts. Most importantly, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more content like this. Thank you very much for watching, and remember, the power to change your life is in your hands, guys. Take actions now, today, okay? And I'll see you guys until next time.